Hey, hi, hello, my name is dis.cat. This is Project Hardcover, where we're letting books be the escape. Hello, lovelies, and today I have my March wrap-up. And yes, I am still wearing the same clothes from my coffee book tag video, which you can see right here. High five, high five. Yeah, I figure while I'm sitting here, waiting for the boy to nap, I might as well make videos. I mean, I have free time, so Unfortunately, this month I did not exceed my TBR like I had predicted, but I did finish all of my books, so with that being said, let's get started. The first book that I tackled in March was A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. So this book is about a magician named Kel who has the ability to travel to parallel universe Londons, and each London has like a different name, like Red London and Black London and White London, and each one has its own magic system and its own ruling government, and it's just super cool. But Kel gets into a bit of trouble when he gets his hands on this very strange and very desirable object, and just all kinds of shenanigans ensue from there. So this is the second book that I've read by V.E. Schwab, and I definitely prefer this one. I mean, don't get me wrong, Vicious was good, it just made me feel weird on the inside. This one, there was no confusion. I liked the good guys, I didn't like the bad guys, it was all very straightforward. But yes, the characters in this are awesome, they're so kick-ass in their own specific way, and the world that exists in this book is so fantastic. And I think the great thing about V.E. Schwab is she is able to flesh out these really spectacular worlds in one book. She doesn't need 2 or 3 books to tell a story and make it feel complete, which is just really, really awesome and really rare nowadays. So yes, I really, really enjoyed this book. Pretty sure I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. I definitely recommend picking this up. The next book that I tackled in the month of March was The Winner's Curse by Marie Rutkowski. And oh man, it is just shiny. So this very shiny book is about a girl named Kestrel who is living in a conquered nation. And Kestrel's father is the general of the army of the conquerors of that nation. And one day, Kestrel accidentally purchases a slave. And this book tells all about how her and said slave fall in love and all kinds of political intrigue, and there's just a lot going on here. So yes, when I went into this book, I knew that there was going to be a romance, and I was totally on board with that, but there was a lot more to this book than I expected. Don't get me wrong, I really liked the romance aspect to this book. It was a nice slow build, it wasn't overly cliche or insta-lovey crap. It was really nice, it's just, wow, it kind of, at a point, took a back seat to all of the political stuff that was going on in this book. There was also a lot of action, and there was emotional turmoil, and it was just really, really good. And the writing was really awesome too. So yes, I really enjoyed this book. Pretty sure I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars too. Definitely recommend this, and I cannot wait to read the sequel because I hear that things just get all kinds of cray in that book, and I just cannot wait to see where it goes. The next book that I read in the month of March was Ink Exchange by Melissa Marr, which is the second book in the Wicked Lovely series. So this book follows Leslie, who is one of Ashlyn's friends that we were introduced to in the first book, and how she winds up getting entangled in the Fae realm. And I really, really wanted to just uber love this book the way that I loved Wicked Lovely, but unfortunately, I just didn't. I mean, this book wasn't bad, it was okay. It just wasn't as awesome as the first book was. The first half is really slow, and it really just focuses on Leslie's emotions and all of the stuff that's going on in her head while she's slowly being dragged into all of this Fae bullcrap. and I understand why it's important, it just didn't make for really exciting reading. But the second half definitely did pick up, and it got a whole lot more interesting and a lot more crazy. It just wasn't overall as great as the first book was. But I did enjoy this book. I gave it like a 3 out of 5 stars, I think. I'm pretty sure. I do love the characters that were introduced in this book though. Leslie is a really strong, awesome character, and Ariel, he's one of those bad guys that you're like, is he bad? Yeah, he's bad, but he's also not bad, and you just love him even though everything in your body tells you not to. And it was still good. I just wish that the first half was a little more interesting. I wish more action had happened. The next book that I tackled was The Theory of Everything by Kari Luna. This book is about a girl named Sophia, and her dad is a really awesome physicist. He is also insane. And unfortunately for Sophie, she thinks she's crazy too. So this book is all about Sophie trying to figure out, is she really crazy? Is her dad really crazy? Or is there something else going on here? I initially picked up this book because it was really strongly compared to Going Bovine by Libba Bray, and that book is like one of my favorite books of all time. So I really wanted to see how this book compared. And while it wasn't as amazing as Going Bovine was, it was still really freaking good. This story is so interesting. For those of you who have read Going Bovine, let me put it this way. The way that Going Bovine works is you start off with one idea and it ends in a totally different place than what you were imagining. Reverse it, and that's what you have in here. I know that that really doesn't say anything, but if I do say anything, I would be spoiling both of those books. But yes, the story was just so awesome. It was definitely different, and the characters were so lovable and so quirky and so much fun. The story was fun. There's a road trip in it, which is always a good time, and it was just so great. There was so much emotion and heartwarming stuff in this that I didn't really expect. I expected it to be really out of the box and crazy and hilarious the way that Going Bovine was. And I was just really pleasantly surprised, and it was really, really good. Gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. I definitely recommend this. I have not seen anybody ever talk about this book, so you know, everyone hurry up, jump on this bandwagon, because this book is really, really good. The next book that I tackled in March was Shatter Me by Tahada Mafi. Yes, I finally jumped on the bandwagon and read this book. I don't even know why I'm doing this, considering how, like, everyone has read this book but me, but here I go. This book is about a girl named Juliet whose touch is lethal. And for almost a year, she's been locked up in this insane asylum with no human contact. Until one day, a boy from her past appears. And things just get all kinds of crazy after that. So I really didn't know what to expect going into this. I really just knew the basic premise that it was about a girl whose touch was lethal. That and that everybody and their mother loves this series. And now, after reading it, I can kind of see why. The writing style, while kind of disjointed, the sentences are kind of, you know, really short and clipped. It's strangely poetic at the same time. And Juliet is a really interesting character. And the way that Tahada Mafi slowly gives up information about Juliet's past is also just really, really great. It just makes you want to keep reading until you figure everything out. The romance for me was a little bit much. I don't really see, you know, the really strong foundation that it's supposed to have. I know that they know each other from way back when, but it's just not a strong enough foundation for me. But it didn't distract from everything else that was going on in the book. And of course, Warner is spectacular. So yes, overall, I really enjoyed this book. I'm pretty sure I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. and I really can't wait to get to the rest of the books and see where this series goes. And the last book that I read in the month of March was Not a Drop to Drink by Mindy McGinnis. So this book takes place in a semi-dystopian world where fresh drinking water is extremely scarce. Our main character, Lynn, has a lake of fresh drinking water on her property. And for her entire life, her and her mother have been brutally defending this drinking water. Things all of a sudden change when outsiders start encroaching in on Lynn's territory, and things just get all kinds of complicated. This was another book that I didn't really know what to think going into it. I didn't know an awful lot about it except for the premise, and not too many people have read this, and it kind of has mixed reviews on Goodreads, so I really didn't know what to think. But overall, I enjoyed this book. The characters were interesting and very likable and pretty kick-ass in their own way, but this book did have some problems. For example, this book does get really slow in some places. Like, there are some action-filled moments in this book, but the times in between those actiony moments gets really slow. Also, the romance in this was a little bit too quick and unfounded for me, and one of the big moments at the end seems like it just went by so quickly and not enough time was devoted to it. Like, it was supposed to be, I'm sure, this really big emotional moment, but I really didn't feel that because it just went by so quickly. But I really did like the characters in this book, and I really liked the overall premise. The world is a lot more believable than some of the other really popular dystopians out there right now, and the relationships between the characters in this book were really, really good. I think I gave this book like a 3 out of 5 stars, I'm not sure, but it was okay. And that's it. Those are all of the books that I read in the month of March. As always, thanks you guys for watching. I will see you next time, and remember, books are the escape.